Hi Foxes! How are you today? If you're watching this video, it means you're ready to put your engineering hats on and build a bridge. So if you're watching this video, it means you would have learned about a very famous bridge that is centuries old and is located in the city Avignon in France, which is more south of France. And you would have learned the song, maybe even know all the lyrics, and you would have potentially also learned how to dance to the song in phys ed or music or even your classroom. So if you've learned a little bit about it, now you are ready to build your own Pont d'Avignon through a STEM challenge. Now, STEM stands for, or STEAM, stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. So today we're going to have a little bit of all those things incorporated into your challenge. And a STEM challenge typically is something that you're creating for a purpose that ends up doing something. So you're making something to solve a problem, or you're building something that is going to end up doing something in action. Or it can be a challenge where you have a certain amount of materials you're allowed to use, and that's it. And then there's a couple of, not variables, but a couple of things that you have to follow. So for us, every classroom got a bag or a box full of goodies. And in there, you're going to find some popsicle sticks, some wooden dowels, which will be your mediums to build your bridge. And for this challenge, you are only allowed to use electrical tape to solidify your bridge, masking tape, duct tape, regular old Scotch tape, modeling clay. You can use this to connect your sticks together. Paper clips, which you can unravel and use as twist ties. You can do the same with pipe cleaners, or you have elastics. So to attach your bridge together, or attach your popsicle sticks and your dowels together, you're not allowed to use yellow glue sticks. You cannot use liquid glue, and you cannot use glue gun. So with the materials you have, you're going to have to build a bridge, and depending on the how your class size, your teacher might say you can all build your own bridge, because it depends on the quantity of materials you have in your bag compared to the quantity of students you have in your class. Or they might say you need to pair up with a friend, or you might need to work in groups of 3s or 4s. So that is your teacher's decision. Now, for the challenge, you are only allowed to use those materials. However, you will be allowed to use a ruler, your own, or scissors, and if you need, and a pencil, because you're going to have to plan in a few minutes. The ruler becomes important because your bridge needs to have a certain length. It cannot be shorter than 20 centimeters, which would be roughly here. So this would be 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. But it cannot be longer than 30 centimeters. Okay, so it has to be between, the full length of your bridge needs to be between 20 and 30. Now, if you don't have a ruler, but your class has a meter stick, you can still use this. You have centimeters here, so you have 10, 20. So your bridge, again, cannot be shorter than 20 or longer than 30. And if there's no numbers, but you do have the orange and the white stripes, that represents 10, 10, and 10. Now in your bag, I will have placed base 10s, because this is a perfect reference to use as if you don't have a ruler. So this is 10 ones, and each ones is actually 1 centimeter. So this is exactly 10 centimeters of length. And if I compare it to the ruler, can you see how it's exactly the same length? So if you don't have a ruler, or your class doesn't have a meter stick, take out 3 of these, and this gives you your measurements. It has to be longer than 2 10s, but shorter than 3, which is the same as 20 centimeters and 30 centimeters. So that you are allowed to use. Then, once you've built your bridge with the materials provided, your next challenge is that your bridge needs to be strong enough to support the weight of your grade level. Which means if you are in grade 5, it's backwards, but this is a 5, your bridge needs to be strong enough so once we put a 5-pound weight on it, it doesn't break. If you're in grade 4, you guessed it, these are 2s backwards, yours needs to be able to support 4 pounds. If you're in grade 3, 3 pounds. In grade 2, 2 pounds. If you're in grade 1, a can of soup, which is roughly 1 pound. And if you're in kindergarten, your bridge has to be strong enough to support the weight of 100 units, 100 ones, okay? Now, before you start, you should have watched, there's a couple of videos and what your teacher showed you, and there's one that teaches you a little bit about what makes a bridge strong. I hope you paid attention. How to potentially build a bridge, and then there's the last slide before this video was a whole variety of different ways you can build your bridge, but those are just ideas. Now, when it's time to test, I'm going to ask the teachers to make sure that if ever you build a bridge that doesn't have any piers, I think that's how you say it doesn't have any piers, then please take 2 books, space them out so that the student can put their bridge on top of the piers, so that we can verify how solid your bridge is. Now, I need to let you know that most likely your bridge is going to flop or fail or break, and that's okay. STEM is about critically thinking. It's about stepping back and saying, what did I do that worked really well? And what did I do that didn't work so well? And it's up to you to go back. So once you tested let's say you're in grade 3 and you tested with a 3 weight pound, but it broke your bridge or it collapsed, that's okay. That's part of STEM. That means, okay, I need to go back and figure out how can I make my bridge stronger, okay? So this is about perseverance. It's about working together, because if you're stuck on something, ask a friend, hey, I'm trying to get this. How would you do this? And the last part before I let you guys go and become engineers is be mindful of only using what you need. For instance, if you decide to go with the pipe cleaners, you're going to have to probably cut them. The pieces, and this is where I would also suggest to the teachers to maybe have a little container or a little space where any extra materials that a student will have worked with but they no longer need, they can put in that little container. So the next student can say, hey, I need a little piece of pipe cleaners before using a whole brand new one. I'll go see what's in that leftover box. So you're going to cut what you need. The leftovers doesn't go in the garbage. Just put it in that little basket or wherever your teacher says, because that is still very much usable for somebody else. And let's say you tried this, it didn't work, and you decide to try maybe the paper clips. Well, all of your little pieces should go in there, so because somebody else might need them. So be mindful of the quantity of what you need. And the same for the tape, any type of tape. If you don't need long pieces, just take what you need and use what you need, and that's it. So we're going to try our best not to have all this stuff end up in the garbage, because that's not the point. The point is to think about, what do I need to use to make a bridge that represents Le Pont d'Avignon, that is longer than 20 centimeters, but shorter than 30 centimeters, and that can support the weight equivalent to your grade level. That is our STEM challenge today. I think that's all I have to say. I hope you have fun, and I hope that you get to get an idea of what engineers do all day long. Have fun.